All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to VITI 304 Wine Components. My name is Claire Kessler, and I'll be your professor for the summer. I am very excited for this class. This is one of my favorite courses to teach. Food and wine pairing is just a really fun, it's probably the most fun part of the industry, in my opinion. It's when we really get to see different cultures come together, different styles, and really where art and science come together in one big fun expression. So welcome to the class. I'm very excited to have you guys. This is just like an introduction video to show you guys the class and maybe go over the syllabus as well. So if you have taken my classes before, welcome back. If you're brand new, welcome. I'm excited to have you. So for this class, it's over summer and it's hybrid, right? So Mondays, I'll post a lecture online, which you'll probably be watching this on Monday, your time, which is awesome. And then I'll meet you guys Wednesday nights in person at the Eldorado Center. So what I have here behind me on this display is our Canvas course. So I will have sent out a welcome email for you already with a link to how to log into Canvas. Once you get into Canvas and into our course, this is our homepage. This is what you'll see. So I'm going to show you how to navigate it and how the course will be set up. And then we'll dive into the syllabus and things that you need for the class to be ready to rock and roll. So this is the homepage. And as you can see, the first thing you see is recent announcements. You'll see like a message from your instructor. So if something happens or something changes or I need to announce anything, it'll be posted in announcements. The first three will be listed on the home page, but it's important to know that if you want to look at any past announcements, you'll actually have to click on the announcements section here. So you'll see a couple different like sections of organization here. So like your dashboard, I guess just to take it back a little bit more, right? Your dashboard will show any courses that you're currently enrolled in. So this is 304. If you're enrolled in 300, you should see that as well. Or any other classes that you're taking, they should be on your dashboard, right? Inbox, this is where you can message me if you have any questions. You can also send me an email to my personal work email as well. I have no preference, either one's fine, but you can send messages through there. You can also receive messages through there from me or other instructors, so just be on the lookout, make sure you're paying attention for that. But then to get back to our class, you'll see another section of organization here, and I'll just do view as a student because I'm going to have more stuff than you guys will have as an instructor. So home is our home section, and I have our images here, welcome, and I have some important links as well on the home page. So you'll have the syllabus, the schedule, the wines that we'll be tasting. This is like a live spreadsheet, so as we taste, I will update that spreadsheet so you guys can see what we're tasting. And then we have an anonymous class survey. To contact me, you can send me a message through Canvas or send me an email through Outlook. You'll probably see a couple different emails for me. They're all good to go. They're just aliases of each other. So one that's easy to remember is claire.kessler@flc.losrios.edu. Another one that you'll see is Kesslek, so KESSLEC @flc.losrios.edu. Both go to the same place. Either one's fine. I just like this one because it's easier. It's my first and last name. Okay, so a little bit about the course. I have a little write-up in about me. That's just what they recommend instructors to do. You're welcome to read it later if you'd like. But essentially how you'll be navigating Canvas and utilizing it for the course is we're going to be working through a module system. So what we'll do is on your navigation here to the left, you'll see modules, right? So when you're ready to get started, click modules and you can get rolling. So in modules, every week will be a module, essentially, right? And I'll have it all published by Monday so you can see everything that you need to know for the week to get ready, to get started. And this will include the recorded videos, which I'm about to post here, and the welcome to class video. This is where this will be, right? So our Monday online lecture. This will be the lecture for Monday. And then I have some documents I've attached as well. And then I'll have tasks that I'd like you to do. So for example, I'd like you guys to sign the lab waiver. This is online. I'm also going to bring in a physical copy as well. So you will end up doing two. I know, sorry, it's a pain. There's like a electronic record that we need to keep and a physical record. It all has to do with safety and liability, so I promise it'll be pretty painless. And then there'll be a reading quiz that'll be due next week. So for the online portion, it'll be a video. There'll be an in-person portion on Wednesday nights, and that will include a presentation and a tasting most of the time. And then there'll be quizzes associated with these things, and then there's a reading quiz as well. So there is going to be a textbook that's required for this class. It's not very expensive, but also I am sharing the PDF for the reading too. So if you'd like to buy the textbook, that's great. It's a really good textbook. I think it's like $20 on Amazon right now. But if you would like to not spend that money and just read the PDF, I will share it on the quizzes. Like this is textbook reading number 1. And so if you click on it, you'll be able to open up the PDF associated with it. And I have, it actually benefits you to use the PDFs that I scan in because my notes and my highlights are on the pages. But this is from the textbook Wine, A Tasting Course by Marnie Old. It's a very, very good book. I highly recommend it. She has really good pictures. I really like how she writes about the topics that we're talking about. It's very informative, but it's not so dense it's going to put you to sleep, right? So it's definitely not your traditional textbook by any means, right? And so how this works is everything that we do, like say on Monday, if I assign something for you on Monday, it won't be due until the following Monday. If I assign something to you on Wednesday, it won't be due till the following Wednesday, right? So you always have a week to do the work. The work for this class won't take you a very long time. And mostly it's covering the essentials, but if you want to go above and beyond and learn more, I always encourage that. I think that's a wonderful thing. But that's kind of the general way that things will work here. So if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, we're going to cover this in the syllabus, don't worry. So I'll just go ahead and hop into there, right? So again, just as a reminder, we're in the module section right now, and we're going to hop into the syllabus next. So for the syllabus, I did paste it onto this page here, onto Canvas for easy access, but I also have a document like linked as well. So it's a Google Doc essentially. And you can print it out if you'd like, or just have it saved somewhere for easy reference. But essentially, this is the class. So it's VITI 304 Wine Components. It's an 8-week course, hybrid. Mondays will always be online, and Wednesdays will always be in person from 6 to 9:05. We might go to 9:05 once or twice this semester, but unless we have a lot of questions or a lot to talk about, or we kind of, get really into a topic, most of the time we end up heading out around 8:30-ish. It just depends how the night goes, right? But we'll definitely be available that whole time for you guys. So here is the other alias email I was talking about. So this is the keslec@flc.losrios.edu. Both emails are fine. They go to the same place. And then we have our student learning outcomes for the class. So these will be the goals of what you will learn by the time this course is over, right? So identify common grape varieties, grape and wine varieties by site and components. Discuss the history and development of the wine industry in the Sierra foothills and California. Identify and describe wine defects. That's always a fun one. Discuss wine tasting setup. Discuss the pairing of food with wine varieties, and explain the principles involved in the fermentation process. So a very fun class to kind of nerd out on, because you get to learn the tasting components and sensory, learn how the wine is made, why it pairs with foods and why it doesn't pair with some foods, and a little bit about the history as well. So a pretty inclusive class for those of you that are interested in potentially becoming a sommelier or obtaining like your WSET or Court of Master Somm certification. This course will probably easily cover, I know for sure WSET level 1. I feel confident it's WSET level 2 as well, but we are not officially with the Wine Spirit Education Trust. WSET, we're just kind of doing our own thing, but it's still a very fun class. Okay, for the layout, Mondays, online lecture will be posted within the weekly module along with the quiz. The quiz is always due the following Monday, right? For Wednesdays, that's when we have our in-person lab at EDC. For a little while there, I was doing a pre-lab quiz. I don't think we'll be doing that this semester, but just stay tuned. TBD. Also followed by a wine tasting and food pairing activity, right? So that is the fun part. The most fun part about this class is the labs. Coming in, tasting, trying food, and just getting to know each other. Honestly, it's a really great community that we've built. The students are amazing. Everyone gets along really well, and we just have a really great group of people. So it's fun. For quizzes and assignments, those will all be through Canvas, right? So each module contains a summary of learning objectives to help you prepare for your quiz. So there's no secrets, no tricks. Everything that you'll be tested on, you'll be told about, you'll be given pointers through the learning objectives about things I want to make sure that you feel confident on before you take the quiz, right? Okay, then when it comes time for the wine tasting, this is where theory meets practice, right? So develop your palate through guided sensory exercises in the lab. Food is occasionally served for pairing. We're going to plan on doing more food this semester, so I feel like we can pretty much guarantee there'll be a food pairing every week. With that being said, please, please, please send me an email, contact me to let me know if you have any severe allergies, dietary restrictions, even if it's personal preferences, like say if you have celiac disease, right? Like we would like to know if you are severely allergic to gluten, or if you are vegetarian, or if you can't have beef products, right? Whatever your restrictions are, your needs, please let us know. We do tend to always have a vegetarian pairing option. So if that's the umbrella that you eat from or for under, then you should be covered. But please don't be shy to reach out, especially if you have something potentially lethal like a peanut allergy or something else. So please, please, please let us know. Also, with that being said, you do not have to eat anything that we serve in this class. You will not be docked points. It's not required for your participation to eat anything. We never want anyone to feel like they have to do anything they don't want to. It is part of the experience, but simply learning about it and reading the material is also sufficient to pass this course as well. We just do it because we enjoy it and we think it's a really fun part of the class, but by no means is anyone going to be forced to do anything they don't want to do in that respect. So just a disclaimer. Okay, so attendance. Lab attendance is mandatory, right? So even though half this course is online, the skills required for wine tasting need to be developed in person, right? So we talk about these things, but it's important that you learn the wine sensory components, whereas you don't have to eat the food we bring, but please come in and practice your wine sensory skills. So this is where we'll develop that. Tasting with other people is a huge, huge help to better yourself in wine tasting and to identify sensory components. So please do come in. So there's a minimum attendance of 6 out of the 8 labs for the summer course. If you do not meet this requirement, students are at risk of being dropped from the course. If you are having like personal problems or a family event or something, just contact me. The big key for my classes is if you just communicate with me, things go really well. If students aren't showing up to class and not communicating with me, then that's when things kind of go south. We start dropping students, right? So if we don't know what's going on, we can't help, right? But if we do know what's going on, we're happy to help. So just let me know. Okay, so that's attendance. Next is textbook and materials. We do have one textbook required for this class. It's Wine, a Tasting Course by Marnie Old, and it's required for assigned reading for quizzes that you'll have. With that being said, like I mentioned earlier, I will provide a scanned PDF of that reading that you can do if you'd like to save some money. I think the book, it's like $20 on Amazon right now. I have it linked right here. Actually, let's see. Huzzah. It was on sale last time I checked. Aha! $18.14 as of June 7th. So it's a really good book. It's a fun book to have. It's a good thing to put on, your your coffee table at home. It's a good conversation starter. It's got really good pictures. So it's really good. Wine Folly is also a really good resource, but I found this textbook, Wine a Tasting Course. It's like Wine Folly is really good for like baby's first steps. This is kind of like the next step where there's even more information and still really nice pictures to kind of help the learning process. But I just think this book is fantastic. So there we go. So that is required. But like I said, if you can't purchase, I will have a PDF available for you to read, so you can still complete the assignment. Okay, wine tasting journal notebook. This is recommended. It's not required. Just having something that you can take your notes and keep them all in one spot consistently is really helpful, because maybe you'll find a wine in class that you loved, and maybe you want to find it and buy it for a special occasion, or just to have around or recommend to a friend. Having your notes available to you is really helpful, and it will be beneficial in your learning process as we taste and continue to grow your palate as a class, right? So having something like that, there are lots of options on Amazon. There are like really nice expensive ones. Even if you just have a composition book, that's fine. Any notebook will work. I also have wine tasting sheets available on Canvas. I'll show you where to find those, that you can print out like 20 of them, put them in a binder or a folder, and then voila, you've made your own tasting notebook. So that is available as well. The other thing that's really helpful in class is to have your own personal water bottle and palate cleansing crackers, right? So table water crackers or any other non-flavored cracker will work. It's highly encouraged, but you will have access to water and crackers if needed. I just think it's nice when you have your own, right? And then also like the eco-friendly junkie and me is like, we're going through so many solo cups, but we have them, so it's not a big deal. But if you bring your own water bottle and your own crackers, that's always great, right? Okay, so at the end of the day, nothing is truly required, but you will be thoroughly prepared if you come with these things, right? Okay, next we have our grading skill. Very average grading skill, nothing crazy about it. For our assignments, we have quizzes that will be assigned. If we do pre-lab quizzes, we'll see about that, TBD. We can talk about it on Wednesday. And then there will be an end of the semester or end of the course assignment for a food pairing paper. This is a casual write-up. This is not an English class, right? So this is more about applying what you've learned in this course, coming up with your food and wine pairing, and talking about why it works or why it doesn't work in a paper, short paper there. But that is the extent of everything you could be seeing in this class, right? Next, we have summer 2026 important dates. So classes officially start tomorrow on June 8th. We have a couple of dates to look for, right? So, life happens. If you need to drop the course, or if, something happens that you need to attend to, that's very important. I will never be offended. I will never take it personally. Take care of you, take care of your family, take care of whatever needs to be done, right? This class will be here next year. But these are the dates that you should know, right? And if you'd like a website link to the academic calendar, it's here, so you have more information there, right? Okay. If you require any special learning accommodations, feel free to let me know. I am a huge supporter of DSPS. If you have anything that you need, if you want to record me in class, if you need to take pictures, no problem. Just let me know so I know what to expect, and I'd be happy to assist in any way possible. Okay, next is communication. So with this class being partially online, right, make sure that you're just checking into Canvas regularly. You're keeping up on assignments and quizzes. That way you know what's going on, right? Also message me through Canvas or through my email. Just let me know if anything is going on, if a quiz is going to be late, or if you need something, just let me know, right? We also have this really cool communication hub called Discord for the program. You are not required to join it by any means, but if you would like to, you're welcome to. This is a program, or not a program, it's a hub where we all communicate with each other as students for the entire program. So it could be veteran students, current students, potential future students, and with the viticulture and enology program, we've developed a really cool community of people, and really interesting, amazingly talented people from everywhere. We have students from, from Brazil, students from Germany, students from you name it, and students who are starting their own businesses, planting their own vineyards, traveling, doing really cool things, staying in contact with each other, inviting each other out to tastings or asking questions, even as simple as like messaging me and for a question about something, right? So there's a direct messaging in there as well. So it's free to join. You can have the app on your phone. You can access it on your desktop, on your computer. So there is a link to join if you would like. And it's a really cool community. So it's just fun, and it opens up more opportunities. Also, we do a handful of field trips in this class. So anytime there's any space available for those field trips, we'll post it on Discord. And sometimes we do outside of class tastings and activities. So for example, we're actually going to have Skywalker Ranch come and visit and do a tasting and pouring for us on June 30th, which is really, really exciting. So that will be posted in Discord as well shared with you as a 304 class. So I'll talk more about that. That'll be an announcement later. But that's a good example of something we'd put in Discord to keep everyone together. Okay, cool. So with that, we just have the student conduct left. So student code of conduct, all students are expected to act within the bounds of it. If you're curious what that is, I have it linked here for your knowledge. And then important helpful links, you have Canvas, Lowe's 3.0 single sign-on, the Discord invite, and then student services as well. So student services is really cool. I highly recommend you check out this website. I'll just pull it up really quickly. So there's a lot of resources available to you as a student that a lot of people don't know about. And it's really something that I try to speak about more. Like, for example, if you need access to a laptop, you can borrow a laptop just because you're a student. If you need help, if you need access to mental health services, you actually get free counseling appointments as a student, and even physical wellness checks as well. We offer free pregnancy testing, all sorts of things. So there's just a lot of things that we don't really talk about. So even if you have needs, if you feel comfortable even asking, send me an email or ask me in class. I might not know the answer, but it's highly, highly likely we have a resource for it on campus. So anyways, fun stuff. Okay, so that is the syllabus. A lot of information. I know, I apologize. So I'll go back to our class in the module, right? So this is everything this is part of what's in the week 1 module, right? This is our online lecture. So we did the syllabus. Next is the class schedule. So the schedule is subject to change. I just have it posted here if you would like to know what's going on, but also if you want to get a head start too, right? So you can see how it's Monday, Wednesday. It's our schedule. Online versus in person. I have the dates posted. And then for Monday, online, the activity is an introduction to the class, going over the syllabus, etc., right? So that's all you have to worry about Monday. Wednesday, in person, we're going to do introductions, wine tasting activity, and then I will assign you reading quiz number 1. And that covers pages 10 through 37 of the tasting course textbook, right? So then you can kind of see what we have planned for the rest of the summer, which is really exciting. So the way that I have it scheduled out is every time we meet for our lab, we're doing some kind of sensory experiment to help hone and sharpen your skills as a wine taster and a food and wine pair. For our online lectures, it's going to be more of the textbook kind of stuff. So for example, on Monday the 29th, I'm going to talk to you about wine barrels, aging, and tertiary aromas, right? But then we meet Wednesday, July 1st, we're going to have a lecture and activity on taste components, right? So we will taste, wines that have been aged and through wine barrels, but then we'll also talk about taste as itself. So what we smell versus what we taste, the 5 tastes that we can, sweet, sour, salty, bitter, umami, right? So we'll talk about that, have an experiment on that. So we have it'll alternate between the textbook and practical lab work in person. So I hope that makes sense. At the end of the summer is when we have our end of the class party, which is really exciting. So this is one food and wine pairing activity, last day of class celebration. And if you would like, For the food and wine pairing that you maybe wrote your page about, you bring that in if you like. It's not required. We don't want to ask our students to spend money if they don't want to, or if they can't. We don't want to do that. So if you'd like to, we bring in food and wine pairing, and we taste each other's pairings and just kind of have a really nice last day of class and enjoy each other's company. So that's always a fun thing. So that is the schedule. It is subject to change, but as you can see, here's all the readings that will be assigned and all of our quizzes as well. Okay. So the next thing that this module wants you to do is to sign the lab waiver. You'll notice that the reading quiz is posted in here. The reading quiz will be due next Wednesday, so you don't have to worry about that right at this moment, right? So shortly too, after I record this video, I'm going to post the Wednesday in-person presentation in here. That will not be recorded. That will just be a PDF. And that's just for you. If you want to have access to the slides to print it out, take notes, bring it to class, you're welcome to do that. I know a lot of students are more like tablet ready these days. Like they'll bring in a tablet and just write on the slides on their tablet, or maybe no slides at all, and that's fine. That's just for your information, right? But the only recorded videos are going to be the ones that I post on Mondays. So it definitely benefits you to come Wednesdays to get the other presentation in person, right? So you don't want to miss that. Okay, trying to think if there's anything else that you should know. Tasks, like your assignments for the week, will always be under the tasks section, right? So just keep track of that. The entire week's worth of information will be posted on Mondays, so you know exactly what you are going to expect for the entire week. You'll also get an idea of what we're doing to the class schedule as well, right? If you look at that. Very cool. Okay. I think that covers most everything. Nope, there is one more thing I wanted to talk about, and I'll upload this too. Let me see if I can find it. Lab safety. Okay, here we are. Yep, so I'll upload this as well. But this is important. So because this is a class where we'll have a lab where we're tasting wine, right? It's really important that we understand the safety behind this and the regulations for what we're going to be doing in this classroom and for etiquette, right? So I have this lab safety sheet that I'll post, right? So I am RBS certified. RBS is a certification. It stands for Responsible Beverage Service. Everyone who serves alcohol in the state of California, whether you're in a wine tasting bar, a regular bar, whatever, you have to have RBS certification, right? So, and this is to help reduce the amount of DUIs, danger, in public, and just to create a safer environment for everyone, right? And so this is definitely something that we abide by at Folsom Lake College, right? So for safety of wine consumption, you can only have 5 ounces of wine for every 1 hour for safe metabolism. That's just the average that it takes for men and women of all assorted sizes and ages, above 21, of course, right? So I am only going to pour you to taste what is safe within RBS for safety of our classrooms, right? And also for the safety of the future of these classes for Folsom Lake College. Because if we have an event or an accident happen, we are completely at liability, right? It's a problem. So anyways, I'm only going to serve you what I can within that time safely. With that being said, only myself or someone who's RBS certified, like our embedded tutor, Nick, is also RBS certified. We are the only ones that should be pouring any wine. So at no point can a student pick up a bottle and pour themselves, right? That's gonna be a problem. So please, if you would like to taste something or you have a question about something, please just ask us. Okay, perfect. Okay, also, while tasting, please stay seated, right? For whatever reason, when people are standing and tasting, it gives the impression that we're throwing a party and not having an educational setting. So just stay seated, please. If you are a student between the age of 18 and 20, you are allowed to sip and spit in the state of California. So that's really exciting. So if you are under 21, you can sip and spit, but you have to spit, right? And I'm going to be watching you, but I also need you to operate on the trust system that you are making smart choices, right? Okay, in the event that a student does not feel safe to drive, we will arrange for a safe ride home or an extended stay in the classroom until the student is completely capable of returning home safely, right? So, and this could be something like, oh, maybe someone has a new medication, or someone didn't sleep well, or someone maybe is getting sick, right? So your body is not reacting to alcohol the way it normally does, even with the safe serving amount. Please don't be shy. Please say something, and we're staying late to wash the wine glasses anyways, right? So we'll make sure that everyone is safe. We want to make sure that everyone gets home safely. Okay, also, you do not have to drink everything the instructor pours for you. You will always have access to a dump cup, right? And so we're actually going to go through a tasting of wine faults. So you will not like everything that we pour you. I can guarantee it, right? And so I highly encourage students to use the dump cup. Just take a sip, learn what you can from the wine, dump, and move on, right? Also, with that being said, please do not give your wine pours to fellow classmates, right? This will break RBS safety standards, right? So if we're only pouring 5 ounces per student every hour, it's going to be impossible to keep track of that ounce count if people are sharing pours with other students, right? So you want to make sure that we're being safe. We really love when students enjoy the wines and get really excited about it, but we want to make sure that we're having safe practices in the classroom so that way we can continue to have this class in the future, right? It would be horrible if this got shut down. Okay, with that being said, here are some tasting requirements or go-tos to ensure that you'll have a safe tasting, a happy tasting, and that everyone can make it back safely, right? Okay, I highly recommend do not come to class on an empty stomach, right? You're welcome to bring food, snacks. Please avoid smelly foods that could hinder you or your classmates' smelling abilities, right? So any like hot tuna or anything super scented, right, it's gonna be a hard time, right? The reason you don't want to come to class on an empty stomach is because the alcohol gets absorbed into the lining of your stomach faster. You're going to start feeling the effects quicker. It's going to be harder for you to focus in class, and you're going to have a difficult time. So make sure you're well fed before you come to class, right? Also, with that being said, like I said, bring your own food if you need to. Snacks, totally fine. If you want to bring some crackers, cheese, whatever, no problem, right? We want to make sure that we're not inhibiting people's ability to smell their wines. So please avoid wearing scented perfumes, lotions, or cologne. Any type of super smell situation, it'll affect your ability to smell, but it'll also affect the person next to you. So we're going to avoid that as much as possible. Okay, if you bring water, it's highly encouraged, but I wouldn't recommend bringing anything flavored, especially a really sugary or fruity drink. Also, if you had just brushed your teeth, the toothpaste is going to interfere with the wine as well. So just plain water is going to be the way to go. Gatorade or sodas or coffees are going to inhibit your ability to taste wine, right? Also, from a medical safety standpoint, please consider any medications that you may be taking. Consult your doctor if you have any concerns, right? Also, open bottles of wine will not be allowed to take home. Unfortunately, it's a liability for students who drive with open containers. So all open leftover bottles will be poured down the sink at the end of the night, or it will be used to create wine faults in our Frankenstein wine program for wine faults. So those are our lab safety tips, right? I will upload this to the module right now before I forget, but those are important things to go over just to make sure we're all on the same page, right? Okay, very cool. Also, with that being said, please make smart choices. By no means is it safe to pregame before class. I do not want to hear about students going out to bars before coming to class. We will not serve you if we're under any impression that it won't be a safe tasting, okay? Also, any pre-gaming of any other herbs or feel-good medicine is also going to be a no-no, right? So we want you guys here. We want to teach this class. We want to have a good time, but we want to make sure that we stay safe, okay? So we're not trying to be narcs. We're just trying to do the right thing. Okay, so I think that covers everything I wanted to for the intro video. I'm very excited to meet you all on Wednesday in person. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to send me an email or a message through Canvas. I think it's going to be a very fun semester, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon. All right. Thank you guys.